Alrighty, guys, let's do it. Let me get my screen set up here. Hold on one second. And we're going to go over today Maverick Mike's weekly watch list. So, how is everybody doing? I hope everybody had themselves a wonderful weekend. Hopefully, you guys didn't get too crazy. I was getting a little crazy for the Florida Panthers, baby. We are in the Stanley Cup, and we're looking pretty good, taking a 1-1 series tied up, going back to Florida. I'm actually going to be heading down to South Florida at 12 o'clock Eastern today. So midday, I'm heading down, hopefully get down there right before power hour to tag some bags from possibly this watch list that we're going to review. So for those of you guys that don't know or that are new, my name is Maverick Mike. I mainly like to trade small caps and penny stocks, but you'll see with this watch list, I'm going to usually go after anything that's going to present an opportunity. So anything that's going to give me an opportunity on the week that lines up with one of my 5 patterns, then I'm going to go after it. And this week, we got a nice list. Now, just because I have a large list of stocks, that doesn't mean go out and buy these right when I say these are good stocks. They still have to line up with the big 3 criteria I like to say before getting into any stock. And those 3 things are always a pattern, volume, and support. So we usually need those 3 things before getting into anything. But today we're going to review these stocks. And I do think there will be tons of opportunity from this list. So last week, if you were with us, it was a brand new week of June. It actually started a little slower. We officially started summer trading. The week before that was a holiday week, and I usually say holiday weeks are slower weeks. So it made sense for things to be a little bit slower, but things really started to heat up in the middle of the week last week, and it seemed like volume started to come in. So we got a list of stocks to dive into. And today we're going to start it off with sectors. So my watch list, my weekly watch list, I create every single Monday morning or the first day of any stock week. And I like to divide it up into 3 different things. I started off with sectors. Then I get into actual listed stocks. Then I talk about options. And then I get into OTC stocks. So it's a really nice newspaper. I like to call it the stock encyclopedia to start your week with. It's a great way to open up, get a morning coffee, and check out what we got going on for this week. And maybe you can make some money off of it. So the sector I'm going to start off with is the metal sector. And the metal sector has been very hot lately. Leading the way was UAMY and NAC. And if those 2 continue to run this week, UAMY coming close to 52-week breakout, NAC as well. We'll see if any of these other ones can follow up. But right now, these 2 seem to be leading the way with the volume, and they are heading back towards a key level of 52-week highs. Usually, we like to anticipate the day, so we'd hope for either a day coming to spike here and playing the possible breakout there, or 1 or 2 more kind of sideways days heading up towards that breakout, and then we break out. So that's what we're looking for in UAMY. And then NAC is that next one with the beautiful breakout. It's actually gapping up. Oh, no, it's broken even this morning, but it had that nice green day on Friday that actually caused a nice spike and pressure from shorts. So we'll see if these 2 metal stocks can spike. Usually if these 2 can go, we get a list of other smaller stocks that will follow it. TMC is one of those ones that recently ran with the metals. And then we have a list of OTC stocks that are very light volume, but they're possible big runners. And you can see this one just ran all the way up to 96. We actually made close to $1,000 on this run this day right here in April 15th. And then we have PWRMF that we just made $500 on overnight here. And then Ream. And these are all metal stocks that are on an uptrend. And that's what we like to see. Consolidation days are good, but remember the big 3: volume, pattern, support. So that's the first sector we're going to eye down. The second sector is a sector that's been hot for the past year, for pretty much for the past 3 months, 4 months, but it's the quantum sector. I'm still personally trying to figure out what exactly quantum is, but I know it's really good for everybody right now because the markets have been going crazy. Also, the technology behind it, I've heard really crazy things, maybe that they can cause cancer. There's a lot of futuristic abilities that quantum can do that really can help the future, solving problems, all the above. So I got to learn a lot more about quantum, but what I like to do is just make money off the stocks. We've made a great amount of money from these stocks this month, or not this month, this year and last year. And why not keep going to the well that feeds you? So the next stocks we're looking at, if QBTS breaks out, we'll look at all these other stocks. So when I talk about sectors, guys, there's usually one stock that leads the way. And usually if that one goes, the rest of them go. So as I talk about these sectors, I want you to highlight the stock that I'm talking about because that's the one that you almost want to watch because that's really usually going to lead the way for the rest of the sector. All right. And remember, really want to highlight that even though I'm going over all this stuff, there's a possibility that these stocks don't break out and nothing happens, and we won't even look at any of the other stocks in the sector. So I do want you guys to be aware that this is just an in general start to the week overall potential movement of what's happening. So if QBTS goes, I love QUBT as the second one because it looks like it's due to run. I mean, the last time it went to 27. And then I really do like this one too, QNTM. Something's going on here where it keeps squeezing up. So we'll keep an eye on those ones. There's a list of a couple other ones that look pretty decent, QMCO being one of them. Looks like it's due for a first green day. And then QSI being another one that we've recently made money off of. So we'll keep an eye on all of them all together. If you do like OTC stocks, we got this one gapping up. Looks like it's heading towards breakout. But that is our quantum stocks. Now we got space stocks. Space, the only reason why I'm putting these on here, we'll see if they stay hot. But Elon and Trump have made absolutely crazy headlines the past 4 days. Luckily, over the weekend, not too much has happened with that argument. But on Friday and Thursday, you had just them two going back and forth. It was really Elon that was heading towards Trump. It wasn't really Trump saying too much back, but he obviously was saying some stuff. But Elon seemed like he was on full tilt. His Adderall must have been out. I don't know what was going on there, but it was ugly. And I honestly am ready for the price action. And we got Tesla to get crazy price action, but now we got a lot of volatility in space stocks. Actually, on Friday, SPCE and RKLB gapped up really big. They came down, but they did start the day gapping up, which means I think we should keep an eye on these sectors. And right now, I only have 2 stocks on this sector, but trust me, there's plenty of more, and I'll continue to add if I do think this watch or this sector should be something we can keep an eye on, which right now, you got RKLB opening up here, which is a larger space stock. And if it breaks out, that can definitely cause other stuff. So we want to keep our eyes out for SPCE. It's actually a first green day is what we're looking for. Not even a multi-month breakout because how slow it is. All right. But we'll add more to those stocks if some more happens this week. I'll keep close eyes there. And then the last 2 sectors we got here, guys, they pretty much go hand in hand, but they are separate, but they almost work together. Drones and robotics. So the robotic sector, the drone sector, very similar, but we got our stocks. We got similar stocks that have robot in the name. So that kind of defines it as a robotic stock, in my opinion. With the drone sector, if you go to news, you'll find drones. You'll find drone news all over all these stocks. But we'll start with the robotic sector. The robotic sector, why it started to move a little bit? Well, Serve, SERV, is a larger robotic stock, and now it's on an uptrend. And look, it's gapping up to here. So maybe we can break out. If we break out, we should get other stocks that run. And those other stocks, these are just a small group of them, like I said, but there will probably be more if we actually get real momentum this week. You could see iRobot or whatever this stock is. IRBT. Yeah, iRobot. It's coming towards multi-month highs too, and it's got a gap to fill. So we got some potential there. We also took a robotic stock overnight. It's an OTC. We'll see if we can break out there. XBOTF is another robotic stock that looks like it's due for a first green day. So those ones we'll keep an eye on. But they do still have to line up with the pattern that I have next to the stock. So we're talking about stocks, but the pattern also has to happen as well. And there's only 5 patterns of mine. And then the last sector we're going to go over, and this one is very hot over the weekend, ACHR with a big 10% gap up. We had this on our overnight watch list on Friday. So every single day we create an overnight watch list. Serve was on the overnight watch list to gap up. We were also watching ACHR as well. Both of those ending up nice gap ups. ACHR, a better one for sure. And why did it gap up? Well, on Friday, the White House, or it was Thursday, the White House signed that they wanted to have the American drone dominance. So this is actually on the White House's website. You can actually look it up and go dive into it if you want to. But also, there was a bigger drone attack that happened from Russia to Ukraine. So Ukraine struck Russia 2 weeks ago with the biggest drone attack. Now Russia's striking back. 472 drones. Imagine that. That sounds like a terror movie. Sounds like Terminator happening in real life. Very scary. But here we go. We're looking at these stocks. I'm just going to go over them slightly. If they do continue, ACHR and UMAX already up big with drone news. And it's funny, the drone news is actually in Orlando. I got to go find where this is because I actually live here. I'll go find this company. But UMAX gapping up pretty nicely to do multi-month highs. We have JOBY that had news with Toyota recently. Really nice first green day to second green day. I don't know how I missed this on Friday. But look at that. Perfect first green day to follow up. Definitely missed that. Cooler possibility. Drone stock. PRZO and Hub C. PRZO is from over the weekend. So on the overnight watch list, we had PRZO. It's gapping up right now. And then the last couple of ones, Xena. I like this one a lot for a first green day. And wow, it's already bouncing. Lighter volume, but good one to watch. MVST and UAVS. So if you don't have these stocks and if you don't have sector watch list, this might help you out. Just start to create and add all these to your sector watch list. Look at UAVS. Looks like we're already coming back to multi-month breakout. So all drone stocks are up to start the week. Good to see. Now, done with the sectors. And remember, I only play sectors if there's either hot news that comes out or if there's a stock that really gets it going, like QBTS or like like one of those larger stocks that really push it. The rest of them can go. If not, honestly, all this stuff we went over, unfortunately, that's part of being a stock trader. You have to put in that effort and you have to put in that grind to find winners. It's not just showing up every day and just finding winners. There's a lot more to it. And a lot of people don't show that part of the trading. But that is the biggest part of trading, the boring part. So now getting into actual stocks for the week and what really we're watching. If it's highlighted in orange, if you guys are wondering, that means I'm looking at it today. So this is a weekly watch list for all week. But if they've been in orange and you were wondering why they're in orange, that means I'm looking at it today. And it is Friday the 13th. It's 13th. That's why I had that up there. So Xena, I've already showed you. Pretty clear cut. We look for a momentum shift in first green day. It looks like $4 is a nice hold level. You'd look for short squeezes. I mean, we don't expect it to break back out, but if it at least comes back to 550, you're already up 15, 20%. It's a great way to start your week. NVTS, another one hanging out by multi-month highs. It's been trading in this really tight range, and it looks like it's due for a move up. This is kind of in hand with NVIDIA. It's more of a semiconductor. So if NVIDIA continues, it's not a bad idea to watch that NVTS as well. IMNN is a small cap that we recently were watching. Now it's multiple red days. Usually after 3 red days, I say the odds of it turning around are higher. Right now we're on 5 red days, and we're kind of down to this level where it started the spike. I would say if it doesn't bounce today, it's most likely going to really fail. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. One of my favorite ones, OPTT. We've made some really good money off of this one. This is one of our biggest wins right before Christmas. It was like the day before Christmas. Yeah, right here. Or the day after Christmas. Good times. But we'll see if we can break out of this range. It's holding 50. the past 3 weeks, that's a key spot, and then 62 seems like another key spot. So let's see if it can break out. It's one of those few marine mining companies, and that's another thing Trump is very high on. So the good thing about the market, no matter what way it's going to go, the why I didn't even highlight the QQQ and SPY to start the week is because no matter what's going to happen in the markets, as long as we have Trump talking or different people talking and bringing hot sectors, the sectors will still move even if the markets are getting busted or whatever. It all depends as long as the sectors are hot. So that's why marine biology, these kind of stocks are the ones I'm bringing up, because this is kind of where you want to be if the sectors go hot. Wrecker, another one of those ones. It's got a big spike last week. Now we're consolidating. Can we make that next leg up? If we can, we squeeze people out. And then the last couple of ones, so we're about to close it out here, guys. We have PRCH, possible multi-month breakout. Cannabis stocks, I always like to short if they squeeze too much. So if CGC comes closer to 2, a possible first red day, which is my only short pattern I go after, but I do go after shorts every once in a while. ATAI is a psychedelic stock. They came out with some news helping out with depression and stuff through psychedelic drugs last week, and they broke out to new 52-week highs. Keep an eye on that. And then the last listed stock I like for a possible short, but I want it to squeeze 1 or 2 more days, APLD. I don't know if you guys were watching this, but CRWV was the sympathy play. So as this squeezed like crazy, we found one that was the sympathy, and this one went nuts last week when we found it. So we'll keep an eye on it for a short if CRWV could finally come back down. All right. And then last handful of stocks I have here, pretty much I always like to look at penny stocks, cheaper stocks, options. So I don't like to leave them off my watch list, but I do put them toward the bottom. We got Royal Caribbean breaking out. It's official breakout, guys. What a bounce from 170, and it's a squeeze. You definitely have people trying to short this, but I am very high on not fighting the momentum. I tried to do that in 2022, and it burnt me. So instead of fighting the momentum, what I mean by that is obviously after 4 or 5 green days, you think the stock's going to go down, and you try to short this, and then it gaps up like crazy. Instead of trying to guess the top, just flow with the plays. And right now, this is flowing to breakout, and then it broke out. That's what I mean. Celsius, another example, flow. You would think you'd want to short this. Well, we're gapping up again, and it's just flowing to new breakouts. So until you see a real trend break or the markets really dip, I like these opportunities. And then obviously Tesla, we got to watch this week for a bounce. I want it to fall back lower. Hopefully this Trump-Elon feud cools down a little bit because it was crazy. It made a lot of volatility in the market. But it usually brings opportunity, and we missed this dip opportunity close to long-term support there, and then it bounced all the way to 300 to end the week last week. So always have to keep an eye on Tesla. And I'm going to close it out here with the OTC stocks. Sorry for holding you guys a little long, but this is my first weekly watch list doing it, so I'll make it a little shorter next time. This is a breakout. OTC stocks, they're penny stocks, but they still trade $1 million in volume, and that's where we're interested. If they don't trade $1 million or more, I'm not going to go after it usually. So these ones I'm going to show you, they're ones that I've ran in the past, and maybe they can do it again. ELTB, AABB, CYFRF, the Bitcoin one. This one's due for a bounce when Bitcoin bounces, which Bitcoin is bouncing slightly today. So maybe we can get something out of that CYFRF today. And then PYRWF, we already went over that one. TMRC we went over. XBOTF we went over. InCare, we already did those ones back then. All right, guys. Sorry for holding you a little longer than I wanted today, but I wanted to review that this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed. I release it every single Monday or start of the week. Much love out there, and I will see you in the Mavericks chat room in the morning or very, very soon. All right, guys. Much love. Peace.